The Bitcoin bears are in disbelief, and yes, I am still one of them. In today's video, I'd like to take you through the most recent Bitcoin price action, currently just below $82,000. What a rally. Let's talk about it, because right now, if we go on the 1 hour time frame, you'll see that Bitcoin is currently looking like it wants to go ahead and sweep its existing high. And as a matter of fact, in yesterday's live stream, if you tuned in, we took a live trade, which allowed me to enter a Bitcoin short right at around this level over here. We ended up taking some profits on the way down, and then I got stopped out at break even back on the way up. So if you like those kinds of trades, if you like live streams, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But right now, Bitcoin looks like it just wants to continue its rally. Yes, there are more longs in the market than shorts. We've covered this on the channel before. If we go on the 7-day time frame, there is significantly more longs in the market than shorts. If we go on the 30-day time frame, it's the exact same picture. On the right here, we have approximately 2.6 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage, and on the left, we have around 14.75 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. So this is quite a big discrepancy, and on the 90-day time frame, it paints a very, very similar picture. There is a lot more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. And as you can see here, I am still in my Bitcoin short. So I secured around $300,000 on the way down on this trade, and the rest of the position is currently down around 50K. Now, I am actually looking to build out this position. Hear me out. So we know that Bitcoin went ahead and essentially reclaimed its bull market support band. If we go on the daily time frame, you'll notice that we broke above this current level. Now that level stems between around $76,600 up to approximately $78,400. We're quite a ways away from that level after breaking through and also getting weekly closes above the level, which is pretty significant. So if I zoom in here, we got multiple weekly closes above the level, and then we got a massive move to the upside. So can this rally continue for Bitcoin? That is the question on everyone's mind, because as we continue to pump here, I actually sold some more Bitcoin that I bought between $15,000 and $30,000 in the previous bear market. So I didn't manage to fully exit the market at the top. I actually sold some Bitcoin above $110,000 and even above $120,000, but I wanted to reduce my exposure even more on this relief rally. And make no mistake of it, this is a very significant rally in a bear market. You can see here that from the low to where we went to today, we essentially pumped over 36%. Now, I need to bring this to your attention just to make sure that you aren't getting overly bullish without proper confirmation. Because in the previous 2022 bear market, which we've made this comparison before, we actually had an even larger pump than what we're seeing today. We went all the way from the low to the high, approximately 46%, depending on which exchange you're looking at. And so, I still personally believe that what we're seeing here is a bear market relief rally. I know it's very difficult to believe this, especially if it's your first cycle, but we have seen rallies like this before with decreasing volume to add to that fact. Now, what is next for Bitcoin here? Because that's the question on everyone's mind. As Bitcoin continues to pump, a lot of people are getting extremely excited, but we cannot ignore the fact that there are also some people like myself that want to short Bitcoin. I am in my active position, but the only level that I would consider adding to this existing short would be if Bitcoin can make it up to its 200-day moving average. You've probably heard this across different crypto channels. Usually, if we can reclaim the bull market support band, we tend to experience rejections right at around that 200-day moving average. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't break past that level, but what it does mean is that Bitcoin is likely to experience its next big resistance around that zone, which is currently $83,400. And if I zoom out to the previous bear market price action, you can see that that's actually where Bitcoin effectively topped out after reclaiming the bull market support band. And then from that point on to the bear market low, Bitcoin dropped over 65%. Now, I'm not necessarily calling for that, but what I am saying is that this is a pertinent level on the chart that you must pay attention to. If we start reclaiming that level and we get weekly closes above this level, then the next target can be as high as the high of the existing range, which would be quite significant. Now, the light blue line here that I want to bring to your attention is the anchored VWAP for Bitcoin from all-time high to where we are today. This has also provided phenomenal shorting opportunities from my perspective in this bear market. It's where I went short at around $97,000, right as that anchored VWAP rolled into the bull market support band, and you can see that this was one of my most profitable trades in this bear market. Now that line is found all the way up to above $84,600. So we're entering a key confluence zone, along with the fact that we have previous support right below $84,000. So right in between $83,000 to $85,000 is a very significant zone for Bitcoin. Now, in terms of my trades, I am still shorting Bitcoin and I'm still shorting Tau. The beauty with these trades is that I can use some of these profits to offset some of my current losses. Obviously, I don't want to eat into my profits too much. However, I will be looking to add to my existing Bitcoin short if I'm given the opportunity to do so. Now, my Tau short, still holding on to this. We also talked about this on the live stream, where I am more than content to hold my stop loss at break even after securing around 150K in profits on this short as well. So, to make it abundantly clear, my long exposure in this market remains in my spot Bitcoin portfolio. So I sold a little bit above $80,000, but I'm still holding a good amount of spot in case we manage to rip higher. But my base case here is exactly the same and nothing has changed. We have seen even more significant rallies in bear markets before ultimately moving lower. And until proven otherwise, I still stand firm on that, and I'll keep you updated if anything changes. Trading the market is all about probabilities, and I've been through multiple bull cycles and bear cycles, and to me, the cumulative long liquidation leverage that we're seeing at this point of time is definitely a cause for concern. Doesn't mean that the price can't continue to climb higher, but what it does mean is that eventually I do think that these longs will be punished in what is otherwise known as a bear market rally. So if we go back to the Bitcoin price action, you can see that we are retesting this trend line, which we supposedly broke down from. And at this point, it would not surprise me if Bitcoin can climb higher, especially after getting that initial push up to above this level, $80,600. This was where Bitcoin effectively bottomed out before getting a significant move to around $98,000, which I'll remind you again is where I shorted Bitcoin initially, and it's where I made most of my profits on the way down from the Bitcoin trade that you're seeing here. And by the way, if you want to see how I am personally trading the market, you do have the first link in my description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my group where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. Whether I win or lose, everything is shared within that group. I'm fully transparent, and it is a free group because the only requirement is that you've signed up with one of the affiliate exchange links down below and you start trading on there with your own capital. Now, I typically prefer Bluffin as my go-to exchange, but if you can't use Bluffin, 2bit and Weeks are also phenomenal options for you. You have the best bonuses down below. And the next thing I just wanted to bring to your attention here is the Coinbase Premium Index, which is still technically on the higher time frames in red. Usually when we cross over in red like this, if we see sustained red, then naturally it can mark a local top for Bitcoin, and then we can potentially go ahead and roll over. But this is very much the higher time frame. I don't want to make it seem like Bitcoin can't pump any higher, because in fact, it can. And the next thing I wanted to bring to your attention here is just taking a look at Bitcoin compared to the usual midterm years. We are currently at the upper range within one standard deviation of the norm here. And so if Bitcoin is to top out, you would expect it to be from around this zone going up into $85,000. Look, The fear and greed index was also something that I covered in one of my previous videos. I find this very interesting and not too many people are talking about it. We're currently at 50, just hovering over into the greed factor. Every single time since the all-time high that Bitcoin has peaked into greed, we had significant drawdown and it created a lower high on the Bitcoin price chart, but also on the fear and greed index chart. So this is something I want you to consider. You can see here that around all-time high, Bitcoin fear and greed index was sitting at over 70, and then fast forward a few months later when Bitcoin popped back up to around $98,000, we were in a greedy period in the market over 61, and right now as I'm recording this video, we are up to 50 and Bitcoin has been pumping from those 60K lows. Remember what I said. Bitcoin can have aggressive bear market relief rallies, and we have seen even bigger rallies than what we're seeing today. One of the reasons why I'm so comfortable in my analysis is because one, I made significant profits on the way down, and two, I still hold spot Bitcoin. I still think that at some point over the course of this year, Bitcoin will be revisiting these 60K lows. A lot of people will think it's too far gone, and if you wanted Bitcoin spot exposure, of course you could have bought from these range lows, but given my long-term stack from the previous bear market, I was not particularly compelled to buy some more Bitcoin at around here, given my average entry is already much lower. I firmly believe in Bitcoin in the long term, but I do think that what we're seeing here, once more, is a bear market relief rally. And as the price action of Bitcoin continues to develop, we did get some economic data today. The ISM Services PMI came in a little bit below consensus, and the JOLTS job opening data came in above the consensus but below the previous. Now, this week, the only economic data that you really want to pay attention to, in my opinion, of course, is the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate coming in this Friday. The consensus is 4.3% for the unemployment rate, and for non-farm payrolls, the consensus is around 60K, with the previous at 178K. This will surely increase Bitcoin's recent volatility, especially with open interest starting to go to the upside here at its highest level since effectively that 98K peak that we shorted publicly on the channel. So let's see how the price action develops. Right now, Bitcoin looks very strong. On the daily time frame, it's starting to look like we're going to get a very strong daily close, but there is still approximately 4 hours left to the daily candle, probably around 3 by the time I upload this video. If Bitcoin can close its daily candle above $80,600, which is effectively the bottom of the previous range where Bitcoin got a nice move up to $98,000, that would be more bullish in the immediate short term. Yesterday, we swept that level. We did not manage to get a daily close above it, but right now, as I'm recording this video, the probabilities seem to favor that we will be getting a close above that level, and then we may start targeting these upper levels, such as the 200-day simple moving average and the anchored VWAP from all-time high. And that sums up today's quick video. Bitcoin is currently hovering just below $82,000, and we look like we're ready to make a move into that 200-day simple moving average after reclaiming the bull market support band as support. Can we push higher is the question on everyone's mind. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. As always, I have my bluff and leverage trading tutorial right here, and I'll see you in the next video.